Hi everyone, this is Megan, the Community Engagement Manager at the Clay Studio, and for today's project we thought we would make a tic-tac-toe board using our clay dough. This project would also work perfectly with regular clay, Play-Doh, or any other air-dry sculpting material you might have available at home. The tools I've got out today, I'm going to be using a butter knife as my cutting tool today, but you could use a skewer, or some other types of materials just to cut your shapes. I've also got a piece of cardboard that I'm going to use as my wear board. And then I've got these cool little stamps that do letters, but you could also use a skewer or toothpick or a paper clip to carve the letters into your tic-tac-toe board pieces later. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, to get started, I'm going to take my clay dough and I'm going to use the palm of my hand to smush it out into a slab. You could also use a rolling pin for this, but I'm just going to go the simple route and use the palm of my hand to make my slab. Once you've got your shape, you could use a skewer or a toothpick to sort of outline what you're doing, but I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm going to use the jagged edge of my butter knife as my cutting tool. I'm just going to slice off those uneven pieces to make a square shape. I'll save my extra clay so that I can use it for my game pieces in the next step. Okay, great. I've got my slab positioned on my wear board, and I'm going to use my butter knife to break my square into 9 different sections for the game. You could use a knife, or you could also use a skewer or any other sharp-edged material to just sort of make those indents. So I'm lightly pressing with my knife, being careful not to press all the way through. So I'm going to make 2 vertical lines and 2 horizontal lines on my square in order to break it into 9 semi-even sections. So I've got 9 squares on there. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and add a coil around the edge of my game board just to have a nice little finishing border on the piece. So I've got my coils around the edge. My dough is really sticky that I'm using, so I didn't need to scratch and attach, but if you were using regular clay, you would need to scratch and attach those coils onto the edges. So now that I've got that finished, I'm going to work on my game pieces. And to do that, I'm going to grab some of my extra clay that I cut off earlier, and I'm going to roll out 5 X's and 5 O's, so 10 little blueberry size balls for my game pieces. So now I've got my 10 blueberry sized little balls of clay rolled out, so I'm going to just gently press them all flat so that they're more like little tokens instead of that round shape. And then I'm going to use my X and O stamps that I have, but if you don't have anything like that, you can definitely use a toothpick or even a paper clip opened up to sort of scratch those letters in. And for the game, you can make more, but you really only need 5 of each letter. So I've got 5 X's going and then 5 O's. And once you're finished with that step, you can just sort of set this aside and let it dry. And once it's dried, you can add the colors. But for me, I'm going to set it off to the side. This is an air dry clay that'll dry in about 24 to 48 hours. Otherwise, I can also pop it into the oven if I'm using a clay dough. If you're using regular clay, you could add underglaze now or wait till after firing and add a cold finish like acrylics, or you could also add a gloss glaze. So lots of different options for how to finish off this project. Once you let your tic-tac-toe board dry, you should be able to paint it. I'm just going to be painting mine with some acrylic paint. Once you're finished adding paint to your project, you can go ahead and seal it with any type of clear sealer. I'm using Mod Podge, but you could also use a clear polyurethane, even a clear Elmer's glue to seal your project to make it last a little bit longer. After letting the Mod Podge dry, you are ready to start playing your tic-tac-toe.